How does the art of invocation work? How can you get in touch with higher energies and spiritual beings like the archangels? How can you protect yourself spiritually in an effective manner? What is the difference between the invoking and the banishing pentagram ritual? How do you perform the so-called lesser ritual of the pentagram, which originates from the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, correctly and powerfully? What are the 3 most important basic skills that you will need for doing so? In this tutorial, we will tell you about these basic skills and about 3 more important things you absolutely need to know. In an animation, we will show you exactly how the pentagram ritual works. In addition, we'll reveal to you a special feature that is usually concealed in videos and texts about the ritual of the pentagram. Brotherhood of the Eternal Light. Kabbalah Ma'asit, the Western way of spiritual living and practical ritual. The ritual of the pentagram and the 3 most important basic skills for its powerful performance. The so-called lesser ritual of the pentagram is a great way to invoke and then release spiritual powers. It is also used to draw a protective magical circle and prepare a place for spiritual, meditative, and ritual work, as well as to make it suitable again for mundane use afterwards. Within this protective circle, which we draw using the ritual of the pentagram, only pure, higher energies and beings of the inner planes are invoked. The Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn spoke of the lesser invoking and banishing ritual of the pentagram. However, these terms may lead to misunderstandings. Beginners often use such rituals to banish all sorts of perceived dangers. However, no being should be banished at all. Powers that appear to be unbalanced are often simply in the wrong place. The skilled mystery student simply sends them back to their natural place. Therefore, we advise to speak of opening and closing rather than invoking and banishing. The opening and closing lesser ritual of the pentagram presented here is quite simple in its basic form. It belongs to the basic tools of every mystery student. Further advanced and more effective versions build upon this basic form. By the way, rituals are not necessarily more powerful if they are more complicated. There is not much use to try out the complex pentagram rituals of the Golden Dawn from one of the books without personal instructions. Also, some elements therein are rather a child of their time and are for good reason not necessarily fully adopted by the true adepts of the mystery tradition today. Likewise, the use of names sounding as barbaric as possible is not the true way to magical powers either. There are other more important factors that determine the degree of power activated by a ritual. You can learn more about these in our Kabbalah Ma'asit training. The 3 most important basic skills. Step 1. Visualization, sometimes also called imagination. When performing the pentagram ritual, you must be able to visualize clear inner images. Imagination is an important skill that helps you to get in touch with the inner astral reality. During the pentagram ritual, you visualize large pentagrams of bluish astral fire in each cardinal direction. In addition, you visualize a hexagram at the ceiling and also the 4 archangels, 1 in each cardinal direction. As with other skills, you'll learn how to visualize by practicing. If you have any questions, you can write us a comment or join our free online course, which includes a lesson on visualization. Step 2. Vibration, sometimes also called intonation. In each of the 4 cardinal directions, you vibrate or intonate the holy names. There are different names of God in Hebrew language. In the East, the 4-letter name of God, the so-called Tetragrammaton. In the South, Adonai, which means Lord or My Lord. In the West, Ehyeh, which can be translated as I will be. In the North, you intonate a notarikon. This is a word which is formed from the initial letters of the individual words of a sentence. In this case, the notarikon Agla is used, which consists of the words Ata Gibor Leolam Adonai and means, You are mighty for eternity, my Lord. Vibrating resembles meaningful singing in a pitch suitable for you, in which your voice can vibrate and resonate powerfully in the room. As examples, I intonate the vowels E and A for you in the way they are pronounced in Hebrew. The main reason vibrating is such an important basic technique is because it is used to activate the energies hidden within the holy name. In the animation we will soon present to you, you can experience the practical implementation of the pentagram ritual, and you will also hear the holy names intoned. Step 3. Posture, movement and performance. When you move from one cardinal direction to another or towards the center of the room, then do so consciously and in a dignified manner. The direction of movement during a ritual or in a temple or temple room is always Josil, that is clockwise. In general, you should have an upright posture with a straight back. It is best to stand shoulder wide with your knees slightly bent. You can stretch out your chest a little and take back your shoulders slightly to build up some body tension. The opening pentagram. You draw the opening pentagram by using the entire radius of your arm. You start with your outstretched arm above your head. Thus, your hand starts at the upper point of the pentagram. Then you draw your still outstretched and maybe slightly bent arm down to the left until it points towards your left foot. As you do this, you visualize how the first line of the pentagram appears in front of you, shining in a bluish astral fire. From there, you draw the pentagram as shown in this animation until you return to your starting position. Make sure to close the pentagram well at the end when you reach the point at the top again. The closing pentagram. If you call any powers, then you must release them and see them off after the work is done. You do so with the closing ritual of the pentagram. Make sure that you close at least as powerfully as you have opened, because otherwise you could end up like Goethe's Sorcerer's Apprentice, and then you'd know what the following words mean. The spirits are summoned, I can't get rid of them. When you close, you begin at the lower left point of the pentagram and draw your arm up over your head. As you draw the first line of the pentagram, you visualize how it emerges in bluish astral fire in front of you. Complete the pentagram as shown in this animation. The pentagram you use to open is a so-called opening pentagram of the earth. In the lesser pentagram ritual, the earth pentagram is used for all 4 directions. You start at the top point of the pentagram, which is assigned to the spirit element, and move in the direction of the earth element. In order to close, you use the closing form of the earth pentagram for all 4 cardinal directions. In this case, you start at the lower left point that is assigned to the earth element and draw upwards towards the spirit element. Now we'll show you an animation so that you can observe how the lesser closing ritual of the pentagram is performed completely. To perform the opening pentagram ritual, use the corresponding opening form of the pentagrams. However, in order to practice the ritual in the first place, and to feel and getting to know its energies, and in order to become acquainted with performing it, we do recommend to start with the closing form first, and to practice it for some time until you can do it by heart and in a confident manner. Then you can do both forms, first the opening and then the closing form. As we promised to you in the beginning of the video, now comes a little detail that is normally not mentioned. The purpose of the pentagram ritual is of course to draw the magic circle. Instructions for doing so are often not included in the texts or videos of the pentagram ritual. And there are further details which are usually not found in texts nor shown in videos. Therefore, it is important to learn these techniques from an experienced teacher. This video can help people who already have some experience in practicing this technique. However, this video cannot substitute personal instruction. In the following animation, we will show you how the magic circle is drawn. The ritual of the pentagram. First, you perform the Kabbalistic cross. We have created a more detailed video tutorial for this basic spiritual technique as well. You will find the link in the video description, so you can watch it later if you do not yet know the Kabbalistic cross. The Kabbalistic cross is best done in front of the altar or in the middle of the room. Now the closing pentagrams will be drawn. To get the right perspective while watching the animation, imagine that you are standing in the middle between the pentagrams while they are drawn. Turn east, draw the closing earth pentagram, point to its center and vibrate. Lord, Draw an astral line of bright, white bluish light from the center of this pentagram to the next cardinal direction, the south. In the south, draw another pentagram, point to its center and vibrate Adonai. Draw an astral line of bright white bluish light from the center of this pentagram to the next cardinal direction, the west. In the west, draw a pentagram, point to its center and vibrate. Draw an astral line of bright white bluish light from the center of this pentagram to the next cardinal direction, the north. In the north, draw a pentagram, point to its center and vibrate. Draw an astral line of bright white bluish light from the center of this pentagram to the center of the first pentagram in the east, thus closing the astral circle properly. Look towards the east and spread out your arms in cross form and say the following words as you visualize the thought forms of each of the archangels and intonate their names. Before me, Raphael. Behind me, Gabriel. To my right, Michael. To my left, Uriel. And about me flame the pentagrams, and above me shines the six-rayed star. Finally, repeat the Kabbalistic cross. As you practice, remember to draw and visualize the pentagrams quite big, as shown in the animation, and always close them well at the last point. In this way, they will be present powerfully in the four cardinal directions during your spiritual work, both as a symbol of protection and access to the inner planes. Tell us about your experiences or ask any questions in the comments. We will respond to each message. The various forms of the opening and closing pentagram rituals, as well as the hexagram rituals and also the rose cross ritual, are part of the basic training of Boel and are taught in the context of Kabbalah Ma'asit, the practical Kabbalah. These rituals are regularly practiced and applied by students of the mysteries and should be performed powerfully by heart. And if you want to learn how to perform rituals like the pentagram ritual even more powerfully, then you can learn this in detail in a second user level of the Kabbalah Ma'asit training. In an upcoming video, we will explain to you those Kabbalistic occult teachings which form the basis of the effects of the ritual techniques we presented to you. As far as we know, this is hardly ever explained. We are of the opinion that you should understand exactly the principles that the applications presented here are based upon. So, make sure to watch our upcoming video, The Secret of True Magical Power. So, stay tuned, subscribe to our channel and activate the bell so you won't miss that video. Share and recommend our videos so that more and more people can learn and benefit from the wisdom of the mysteries. If you enjoyed this video, we appreciate your like. Thank you very much and see you soon in the next video.